Hello there YouTube, I'm Wheelchair21 and on today's review we have Bandai Mini-Pla versus Vehicle Series 1 for Lupin Kaiser. Now the Lupin Kaiser from Lupinranger vs. Patranger is awesome, and the fact that the Bandai Mini-Pla line is following suit with Kyuranger to completely sell sets in the groups of the assortment is great, because we see here we have all 3 Dial Fighters plus 2 parts of a Good Striker, as well as it is compatible with the Mini-Pla versus Changer. The side of the box art shows our Dial Fighters, as well as more information on the actual combination with the actual Mini-Pla versus Changer. The box art shows the Dial Fighters in their optional form, as well as the Good Striker, and more promotional artwork for your Lupin Kaiser. To identify that this is the front of your box, all you have to do is look at the top here, which has this nice artwork of the actual in-show suit and your Lupinrangers. The interior for our 5 individual boxes are now streamlined to look practically similar and identical to one another, with the numeric values at the top, as well as their own individual box art. No longer do they actually promote which is the actual signature piece that comes in these pieces anymore, where we'll see, either the blue Dial Fighter or red Dial Fighter or part of the Good Striker featured on the box. It's now just straight down, right front up with you to match your actual gift set box art. And here we have our Mini-Pla Dial Fighters made for Lupin Kaiser. You see each of them there. You see the red Dial Fighter, yellow Dial Fighter, blue Dial Fighter, as well as Good Striker in Dial Fighter mode. Now, before we start looking at our individual vehicles, the airplanes, the jets, the helicopter, whatnot, let's talk about these little weird pieces right here. Now, on the box, it showed that these little, boots are for the actual Good Striker to attach to the Mini-Pla versus Changer. This does not make it actually accurate or acceptable to be used with the deluxe one, but if you do have the little miniature candy toy version, this will allow you to attach it. The same goes for the Dial Fighters. This blue boot here works for any of the 3. This is the part where it connects to. Underneath here, you connect it to a piece similar to this, and then you just slide it on and lock it in place. However, individually by themselves, they don't really stay firmly together, and they do pop apart and fall apart quite easily. So they actually stay well endowed and locked into place once you have it actually booted to your Dial Fighter. Now let's start with our arms. Let's go with the blue Dial Fighter just because it was the first one I picked up. As we can see here, it's a nice old school airplane with propeller, and it looks really nice. I do like the cool blue aesthetic to it, and I also like the little propeller. It doesn't rotate. It's just one static piece that's held in together by the frame. You have the clip here that makes it look like it's the actual slide to lock it into your Versus Changer. However, as I showed with the boot, it actually locks it in place to make it more sturdy and connect to your Versus Changer. Then on the back, we see at the tail of the actual plane, you have the mini chain gun, and underneath you see the little hand for when it becomes Lupin Kaiser. On the top here, we have a nice metallic sticker for the cockpit, and we have a actual dial that can rotate. Now, the back of the dial is signified by this little chip here, like this little bill, to tell you that that is the back end, and the front ends are always with the number 0. Now, for its attack fighter mode, all you need to really do is just pull the arm out like this, and it becomes kind of like a weird, old school, I would say 80s villain vehicle that they would attack the Tokusatsu hero with. Honestly, it looks weird and ridiculous, and it kind of reminds me also of the B-Wing from Star Wars. Next up, we have the yellow Dial Fighter, which is a 2-turbine VTOL-like helicopter, and it looks pretty snazzy. It's probably one of my favorite of the Dial Fighters, and it just looks really unique and beautiful. I love how the actual black and, I guess you would say, maroonish dark cherry red cockpit looks with the overall design. I do love the metallic rings going around the propellers and the turbines, and the actual tips of the wings here with the nice goldish yellow. I love the back end having a nice little metallic sticker for the actual logo of the Lupinrangers. However, the buzzsaw thing, while it does look cool, it just kind of feels dumb as its attack weapon. It doesn't really look like it has anything to fire with naturally down here like we have with the Gatling gun on blue. However, it does look nice, but I did actually misassemble mine. From what I noticed is that this side here is supposed to be on this side, where these little pegs here where you see the 2 sides clipped together are supposed to be inverted. However, I misassembled that, but it's not that big of a deal, honestly. But overall, Still probably my favorite of the dial fighters thus far. Then we have Reds, which is, I'm not sure which plane it's supposed to be derived from. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be like a mix between like a Tomcat and an F-22 Raptor. However, it could be completely different, and I could be wrong. I really do like Reds. It's my second favorite of the three. It's nice, it's simple, low amount of stickers. However, it does have the nice little red coil here to stand out. For its attack mode, though, you bend this down and you'll automatically see the face due to how the assembly is. Now, you can't really see it because of the dark shadowed out area. So, like, I'm trying to hold it to get it the right way in the lighting so I don't have to adjust the camera itself. But in here, when you turn the actual dial around, you have actual, supposed to be like a thruster or a beam attack of some sort. But it's not really able to pick up because of the, like, bill of the hat kind of shadows it out. It's the one thing I do actually hate about the actual Lupin Kaiser. Last but not least is the Good Striker. Now, with the Good Striker, it does have the ability to become both the trigger machine and the dial fighter. However, I have it simply in the form. Now, the one thing about it is the stickers for the beak or the bill of the drill tip here of the dial fighter don't really stick too well on the very tips here. It kind of doesn't stay well put, doesn't want to stay actually just snug to the actual piece here. However, I've noticed that when I got the second one for the actual Patrangers, the sticker actually attached real well. Maybe it's just a issue with the glue, maybe it's just an issue with the overall surface, who knows, but it's really weird that it's give or take between the two molds that, you know, I should say the two releases that, you know, the sticker either works or it doesn't really work that well. But then again, these are Mini-Pla stickers, so they do tend to fall and fly off really fast. One thing, though, you do see is a lot of the undercarriage underneath. It does have a lot of nice, cool details with the actual stripes, pin lines, like all the mechanisms that make this thing work. It really does look nice. It really does look awesome. I really do love these metallic stickers on the interior of the wings. And it just overall is a pretty big mecha vehicle. But then again, you know, it does form your torso and it does form your legs to the mecha. So for the actual transformation, it's pretty simple. You just fold it up as if you're going to turn it into the trigger machine, as you can see here. And then you fold down the actual back end where the trigger comes out of. You pull down this actual peg right here to attach your dial fighter or trigger machine to. You'll see that there are actual ports here on the left and the right side for your vehicles to latch onto. You'll pull this down and you'll have your legs. You automatically have your feet here, which are these red tips down here, and you pull that out. Now, the last piece of the configuration for the torso is you just pull down these areas here on the kneecaps to reveal these red interior pieces and more metallic stickering. So that pretty much is your entire torso. Now, to assemble the rest of the parts, it's pretty freaking simple. Pull down the arms as if you're doing the actual attack mode or the attack formation. Pull down your wings, fold them down, and you'll have a port right in here to peg into. With yellow, you'll have to do the same thing. Twist and turn. And I think I did it backwards a little bit, but as you can see, just fold down its wings, push it into place, and then with red, we're going to have to bend this down, fold this down, and you're already set. And then you just plug it right on top of your actual machine right here, and we're good. Oh wait, I forgot. You actually have to put the wings up on this one to lock it into place. And here we have Lupin Kaiser finally assembled with all of its nice intricate parts put together, assembled, bam, here it is. One thing I will say is that while it does have a wide range of articulation, the overall mold and design does get hindered due to the actual dial fighters themselves. First off, for the wings on yellow and blue, they do kind of hinder the elbow articulation for getting a full 90-degree bend in your elbow. However, it's not that hard to, you know, just lift up your wings just a little bit to get the full wide motion. In addition, due to how the shoulders are formed and made, you kind of don't get a full wide range. Like, it is slightly hindered due to the actual piece here on the Good Striker, as well as the interior pieces of both your dial fighters. In addition, they do pop off due to how the actual surface is a more of a curved, circular, smooth peg joint. and it's kind of weird. Now, the head itself is slightly hindered due to the fact that it is a top hat-like scenario for its overall gimmick and design, so you don't really get to see the face, unlike in the show, or the deluxe mecha, or keychains, or other properties regarding Lupin Kaiser. However, as we move further down with the robot, we got an actual waist swivel, which is really good that it can go all the way around. We actually have really Jean-Claude Van Damme-esque hip range, you know, like this guy does yoga. Lupin Kaiser likes to move his legs around, kick, and jump, and do all this crazy stuff. You also have your actual thigh joint, you also have a knee joint, and due to the fact that this is a, like, slide gimmick, you want to make sure you give it a nice tug to lock it in place so it doesn't become chibi-eyed or dwarfish and keep sliding inside of the overall parts down here. And you got a toe joint that doesn't nominally do much due to the blocky or boxy style of the leg. You can only go so far with the toe to give it added leverage to make it do like a nice stance or pose before just moving the foot makes it harder to overall display your mecha. Now, one thing I would like to point out is some fans will probably try to customize the skirt here to be able to be individually moving with your leg. However, unlike Gundam model kits where there are two little ball joints stuck together that you can easily like cut and file down to give an individual sway, this one is unable to do so. So overall, you get nice points of articulation. You do have some hindrance, but I think for about $20 to $30, fans will find out that this is a very cute and easy toy to build and enjoy. I mean, the planes themselves only take about 5 minutes to assemble. I think even maybe 7. I went through it pretty fast to make blue, red, and yellow really easy. Whereas I actually found the Good Strikers parts A and B to be a little bit more complex than I'm normally used to. I mean, it used 4 runners, and that's kind of a lot in Mini-Pla standards of having 4 actual runners or sprues to have your pieces to assemble to make your overall torso and body, which is very unique, honestly, and I think that was my favorite part of the assembly of not just Lupin Kaiser, but Pat Kaiser. So, honestly, I think fans will really come to love this figure and display it. I think this is going to be one of my all-time favorite Mini-Pla sets next to the Q-Ranger one. So, for 2 years in a row, we have really good Mini-Pla series that I think fans will easily come to love, enjoy, and remember. Now, these are actually still in stock at most places, whether it be CS Toys, Ami, Hobby Link Japan, and you maybe even find some actual stores in America selling these. Nevertheless, though, if you like this review of Lupin Kaiser, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel here, as well as check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and over at HeroClub.com. As for the Pat Kaiser review, we're going to have a little bit of an intermission between that one, so expect it in 2 reviews from now. So you'll have one break, then you'll have your actual Pat Kaiser review, where we'll be looking at Pat Kaiser as well as the minor comparisons to this set and the next set.